White people love making jokes about Asians eating their cats and dogs, while they're out here eating their cousins. That's right, welcome back to the Bit of Truth for a wacky Wednesday. Let's just hope those pigmentally challenged people haven't ruined your week. Yes, gosh darn those white people! How dare they just walk around here free like slavery wasn't even a thing? Well, not anymore! There's outrage at a show's publicly funded venue where it tells white people to check their privilege at the door. Well, when it's called the Femmes of Colour Comedy Club, it really says it all, doesn't it? A few weeks back we saw the latest show from NWA, No Whites Allowed. And now we can go, but we must check our privilege with the coat-check woman of colour at the front desk. The only thing funny in a comedy night like this is if some gammon turned up in a pointed white hood. It's a joke. Let's just keep creating divides and moaning about things that didn't even happen in our lifetimes.
It's really so stupid.
And you don't even need to go to a woke comedy show. Just turn on your televisions for your boxes to be ticked. A complaint is lodged after an ITV editor causes fury for saying we don't want white men. Yes, white people. Yes, you. You are no longer needed at ITV, says the ITV Commissioner Nicola Lloyd, where she said at a panel in a packed room at the Broadcast Indie Summit. Imagine the outrage if someone said, that's it, no more black people allowed. I wonder how long it would be before the building spontaneously combusts, or more shops will get looted to liberate iPhones and Mac makeup. Remember kids, the Equality Act only works when you have a bonus hole or from a loud minority.
That's pretty racist, but correct.
Speaking of erasing the past, a woke uni blows taxpayer money on trying to decolonize the author of Treasure Island. Ah yes, those damn pirates! We need £200,000 to waste to get rid of that Robert Louis Stevenson creature right now. Well, thank you to the Taxpayers Alliance for showing us the unearthly amount of money wasted in an audit. Well done Edinburgh University for being so brave. The morons that give this the go-ahead should be made to walk the plank. Also, what are you doing with the other 62 gratuitous grants totaling £9 million?
It's none of your business.
Now, speaking of morons, let's check in with the experts. The next pandemic is just round the corner and sacrifices must be made. Ah yes, 4 years to the day we had our last pandemic of the crocker-shit convids. We now must start becoming afraid, being very afraid of what's coming next. Well, Natalie McDermott, some clinical lecturer at the King's College London, shut your mouth. I don't know about you, but I can't wait for the next pandemic. I need some time off. She says, and I quote, "It might be 2 years, it might be 20 years, it might be longer." Seriously, you mystic moron. Someone will be born today, someone will die today, and someone will make some crappy vague predictions to get a 5-minute read in some dumb tabloid.
That's right.
Oh wait, maybe I've found it. Social distancing is back. And Brits are urged to stay away from birds amid the fears of the next human pandemic. Yes, now we must social distance ourselves from birds, and I don't mean those ones at your local boozer with their baps out trying to get a free drink from you. Yes, stay away from pigeons, seagulls and swans, just like most people already do for fears of getting shit on. The next time someone mentions the word pandemic, I'm going to fucking start one. I'm so sick of hearing about the latest scare tactic.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you.
Now, speaking of getting sick, a near record 2.7 million Brits are too sick to work, a think tank warns. Well, thank you, think tank. What do you think is the reason? Bird flu? Mad cow disease? Lazy bonitis? Or maybe it's because white people are not allowed to apply for certain jobs. Ask ITV. Who knows, nobody seems to care, or even enough to do a slight bit of digging, probably because they're all off sick due to anxiety or stress. Get your asses back to work unless you have a legitimate reason not to be. I'm fed up of my taxes going up just to pay for people to sit on their asses at home watching reruns of Jeremy Kyle. Those at home watching me, feel free to stay there. You may learn a thing or two.
He's absolutely right.
Now, speaking of being on the dole, a shameless benefit thief stole universal credit even though she inherited £400,000 and splashed the money on a new house. You see, this is what happens when people aren't busy doing their jobs. They let people like this get away with stealing money from the people that can be actually asked to turn up. £400,000 windfall and still claiming universal credit and housing benefits. By the time her secret was out, she claimed over £10,000 in benefits, spent all the money on a new house and spoiling her friends and family, yet the court heard she only has £5,000 left of it as of January last year. Well, f*** her and f*** her house. She should be made to sell that, pay back triple, plus any interest stolen, and get sent to go get a few free meals from H&P, lying little bitch, and then be made to pay for that too. But nope, spared jail, given 120 hours of community work, and still claiming benefits.
Unfucking believable.
Now, speaking of more shameless women, Katie Price, that Jordan creature, lusts after a £194,000 pink Porsche after being declared bankrupt for the second time. This thing is the literal definition of I don't give a fuck. Another oxygen thief who can't be bothered to pay their tax bill of £750,000, lives in a mansion, albeit a mucky one, upgrades her tits and face bi-weekly, takes holidays near on off every day, goes bankrupt and now looking to splash out on a £200,000 car. It makes me want to vomit. And I don't mean any photograph of her or one of that monstrosity of a car either. The only way this gets put to bed, although I'm sure she'd like that, is if you lock her up.
Oh, you're probably right, as usual.
In more obscene amounts of money, a single car parking space goes on sale for £225,000 in London, the same price as a 3-bedroom home. Well, definitely not a 3-bedroom home in London. You can barely get a parking space for that. It's not even hard to believe that there was another parking space in this same building listed for even more, £400,000. Good luck at parking your Chelsea tractor in there, but don't worry, at least it comes with running water.
It's a deal. It's a steal. It's sale of the fucking century.
In more crimes against cash, we have another rip-off as British Airways hikes snack and drink prices mid-air at 30,000 feet. Ah yes, fantastic! I get on board my flight from Gatwick to Benidorm, sit in my seat barely big enough for a child, while another one kicks the back of my seat because the parents couldn't give a flying fuck, to needing to open the drinks menu as I urgently need a G&T served by some overweight trolley dolly. I shimmy to struggle to get my coins out to pay for my lukewarm beverage, whilst being shouted at some obnoxious bonus hole holder because she wants to switch seats with me because she wants to sit next to her obnoxious better half because they couldn't be bothered to pay for the seat selection when booking the flight, and can't spend 2 hours away from each other even though they won't talk to each other the entire flight through that of watching a movie, or the fact that they just had a bust up in the parking lot over a space. Anyway, I digress, whilst painting the perfect picture of reality, to be told that the prices just went up and I'm now 18p short of drowning my sorrows. Well, this is my fault for not being rich enough to book a seat in first class. Actually, it's my fault for not being rich enough to charter my own jet. Maybe I should have just become an MP, a moron of politics.
Get what you fucking deserve!
Now, speaking of morons, I've got a couple more to speak to you about today. First is this hypocritical, ethical vegan who made death threats to people who weren't kind to animals while selling leather handbags. Anyway, he's allowed to sue his bosses for discrimination after a tribunal rules his veganism is a protected belief. Ah yes, you can make death threats as long as you're vegan. You're allowed to tell white people to check their privilege as long as you're a person of colour, and you're allowed to make up anything as long as you're an expert or an MP.
That is correct!
Next up, a woman was forced to close her cafe after neighbours complained about the smell of bacon, and now she's reopening just 100 metres away. You didn't happen to live next to that last moron, did you? Yes, not only the smell of bacon, the noise of teaspoons and teacups sent this lady packing. Being in Weymouth, are you sure it wasn't the wafting of the aroma over to the old bibs where the residents were making the complaints? Surely not, as most of them on board are now Christians. Yes, don't support local businesses. How dare we smell your bacon whilst enjoying a fry-up of our own.
Is it baking you crazy?
And finally, just to give you a bit of a laugh, a Specsavers driver should have definitely gone to Specsavers after mounting his van on a bollard. You really couldn't make this shit up. Only in Edinburgh would you see this. That driver must have went to the same Edinburgh University trying to bang Treasure Island. Well done, but you can't park there, mate.
You're a fucking idiot.
Right, so what have we learned today? White people, check your privilege, or we don't want you anyway. Universities are wasting more and more of our money on woke things. The pandemic is just around the corner, maybe in 2 years, maybe in 20, maybe even longer. Parking spots are worth more than your house. And as long as you're a meatless moron, punishment of death threats does not apply to you. Signing out.